Yes, I want to talk to Alec Loorz. Is from your community, 14 years old. 2 years ago, when he was 12 years old, he wrote me a letter and applied to come to Nashville, Tennessee and go through my training program to give my slideshow. And, well, you're clapping completely for Alec because I made a mistake of turning him down. Because I said, Alec, you're too young. You're too young, because we had an age limit. Who would think a 12-year-old could do something like that? So he was disappointed, but he said, okay, I'll just do it on my own anyway. And so he put together his own version of the slideshow. How many times have you given it?
Over 30.
He has given 30 slideshows throughout this area on the Global Climate Crisis. I know you have a question, but first of all, I have a question for you. Are you strongly supporting Nick Liebem for Congress?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what's your question?
What role can youth play in the movement to solve the climate crisis?
Thank you. Well, young people have a unique source of moral authority where this issue is concerned, because you are going to live with the consequences of what we do or fail to do more than your elders. And your mom's awful young, so she'll live with them too.
Nice, nice.
I'm not fully recovered as a politician. You have a source of moral authority, Alec, because when young people say to their parents and grandparents that you got to do this for me, parents and grandparents want to tell the truth to their children and grandchildren. I remember when I was your age, the Civil Rights Revolution was underway in our country. And in Nashville, Tennessee, the sit-ins and the lunch counters were underway. John Lewis, who has since become a very close personal friend, a great national hero now, congressman from Georgia, was a student at Tennessee State, at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, doing that. And my generation of young people, your age, back then, saw African Americans being persecuted because they were simply asking in a nonviolent way for the same rights guaranteed to every American in the Constitution. Hello?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we as kids could see the injustice of what was going on a little bit more clearly than some older people could at that time. And when we asked our parents, now explain to me again why this is okay for Bull Connor to take this fire hose and stop people from getting their rights. When our parents could not answer that question honestly, the laws began to change. That's when it began to change. Young people were part of, they were the heart of that movement. Now here we are, and young people are once again taking the lead. Up in Northern California, there's a huge new group that was formed by a young woman just 2 years older than you named Mary Dorr. She calls it the Inconvenient Youth.
That's great.
And, they're launching a 34-city tour this coming week. So you can make all the difference. And by the way, for the rest of us, I mentioned something like this earlier today, but I really feel this very passionately. Years from now, not too many years from now, our children and grandchildren will ask us to be held accountable. Just a couple decades from now, they will look around at their situation and they'll ask one of two questions, and I'm not sure which of the two they'll ask. I know which one I want them to ask, but it'll be one of these two, trust me. Either they'll ask, what were you thinking? Back in the first years of the 21st century. What were you didn't you hear the scientists practically screaming from the rooftops, led by Professor Roger Revelle 50 years ago? Didn't you see the North Pole melting before your eyes? Didn't you see all these hurricanes and floods and droughts and tropical diseases moving north, all these other consequences, and you did nothing about it? Didn't you know that the world put together thousands of scientists from 130 countries who've studied this for 20 years and put out 5 unanimous reports saying do something about it? Why didn't you do something about it? Didn't you care about us? Were you too busy? Were you too focused on subprime mortgages? Or Brittany, whatever? I don't want to pick on her, God bless her. Or they'll ask a second question, and this second question is the one I want them to ask. I want your generation to look back 20 years hence at what we did starting when Nick is sworn in into Congress in January, and what. And I want them to look back at a sea change, and I want them to ask this question of us. How did you find the moral authority to rise and solve a crisis that so many said was impossible? How did you do it? How did you find the courage to do it? That's where our challenge is, and you need to pose that question.